Hey everyone, excuse the outfit. It's a rainy day. I'm working from home today with the kids, and I wanted to take this opportunity to explain a little more about the 50-point calculator and how you can use that to get more listing presentations and then in turn get more listings. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So remember, the point of the 50-point calculator is to give people a more accurate valuation of their home. So we've all been taught CMAs use 3 active comps, 3 closed comps, and then you make adjustments that are sort of arbitrary. The goal of this valuation is to use more data points because more data means more accuracy. If you think about it, the reason why we do not go further back in time, let's say to 2 years when we use comps, is because of appreciation and properties and change, values change. This calculator adjusts for that by taking into account appreciation. That's a very important point. If someone asks you, I need you to understand that. So I'm going to try and get this done in 15 minutes because that is the goal. When you use this calculator, you're not only going to get it done in 15 minutes, but you're going to go over it with your clients in 15 minutes. You're going to use this to establish trust, to make people understand your value, and to lead to the next point in the process, which is the listing presentation. So with that being said, right here, anything in blue is what you will need to insert. So I chose a property, 5121 Crescent Moon Drive. I'm going to type that in. It's in Green Acres. I'm going to enter the subdivision, the bedroom, the bathroom, and the square footage. The reason why this information is so important is because if you scroll down, this search criteria box here, when you get to your second method, and this search criteria box here, when you get to your third method, are going to adjust higher and lower by 10%, and that's what you should be using when you're looking for comps. So remember what we're doing. We're using 3 different methods, 50 different data points to give people a range of value. Now, this box here is that range of value. You have the 3 methods listed. Let me go ahead and use my pointer, which is fun. So you have, this is the reasonable range of value. You have the 3 methods here, the adjusted baseline, the active comps, the closed comps. Those are the 3 methods that we are using to evaluate someone's property to give them an accurate range of value. This line here is the average, and this is where at the end of the day, this is really the range of value that they're going to walk away with. Now remember, like I wrote in here, real estate is not a commodity. There is not a specific set price like gold. Instead, there is a range of value. You all need to understand that so you can explain it to your clients and the people that are selling their homes. So as you can see in this box, for each of the 3 methods, there is a low end, an average, and a high end value. And so then at the average of the 3 different types of valuations, we're going to also give them a low, average, and high. So let's scroll down. Let's work on method number 1. Method number 1 is an adjusted baseline. So the goal of this method is to use a previous valuation of the property, adjust it based on appreciation to get a baseline. So in this case, on the right here, you'll see the different values that you can use for this baseline value box that you need to insert. Remember, anything in blue, you need to put that number in. So the 3 different values that you can find, the prices, are either number 1, the value on the tax records, number 2, a recent sale, and number 3, an appraisal. So in this case, I didn't have a recent sale, I didn't have an appraisal. So what I did was I went to the tax property appraiser site, typed in the address, and it told me that, let me do that right now so you guys can see what, oh well, let's see. If I go to the property appraiser site, in this case it's in Palm Beach property appraiser, I found the property appraiser site. If it's Broward, go to Broward. In the address section, I'm going to type in the address. There we go, found the property, hit search. And what I'm looking for is the assessed value. Now remember, the property appraiser gives valuations called assessments that are usually 80% of market value. So if I scroll down, right here, In 2019, the assessed value of the property is $247,000. Now, let's go back to the calculator. So, $247,000 is 80%. So we need to add 20% to that. You can either take 20% of 247 and add it, which will equal 296, or an easier and faster way to get to that number, take 247 and multiply it times 1.2, which accounts for the 20%, and that will give you that 296. So that is the adjusted baseline. That's the first method. So that's the first step. Now, let's assume that you had a recent sale. Let's assume this property closed 2 years ago for $296. What you would do is in this second section that you have to, again, insert the data, you're going to take the date of that recent sale or the appraisal. In this case, I'm taking the date of the assessment. Now, when you're using the tax assessed value, you're going to use January 1st of the year it was assessed. So in that case, it's 2019. So I put January 1st, 2019. I put today's date, and it's about 1.5 years since it's been assessed. I then take an appreciation rate, which don't worry about that. You can plug in an average appreciation. When I used it and I figured out using the calculator, it's about 9%. So when it makes that adjustment, that brings today's valuation, June 4th, 2020, to $335,000. That's method one. Now, if you scroll up, you'll see here, that's what's going to be inserted there. Now, the key part of this to remember is the fact that it's taking into account appreciation. So if a seller asks you, how is that accurate? You're going to explain that this is taking into account appreciation. So that's method number one. Method number two takes active comps. Now, what I did was I went into the MLS. I looked at any active comps based on this criteria in this blue box here, 4-bedroom, 2-bath in Nautica Isles, and I used the square footage requirements right here. Now, let me point out a couple things about using comps. First off, this is where your expertise matters. Let's assume Nautica Isles did not have enough active comps and I wanted more. And I knew next door there was another community that was very similar in upgrades, in style, in HOA fees, and all those things. What I would do is include those comps. You cannot go by a radius because we all know that there are areas, neighboring areas that are very different communities. So you want to use your market expertise to choose homes that truly are comparable. And you want to make sure you're getting enough comps. In this case, it asks for 12. I found 12 actives. Once I got those 12 active comps, and remember with actives, you could also use pending or backup, I then took an average. So you're going to add up all 12 of those list prices and then divide it by 12. You can also use a formula. You can use Excel and use the equals average function. And that gave me an average list price of $367. That's method number two. Now we scroll up a little bit and you can see in the second line here, active comps method, it gives you that 367 number. And then it makes an adjustment for low end, adjustment for high end. Low end are usually going to be homes that are not in great condition or need some sort of a repair. High end are going to be homes that are in perfect condition with upgrades and with something that's been renovated, let's say. So that's method number two. Method number three is close comps. Now you want to get as many close comps as possible because, again, remember the purpose of this CMA is to use more data and to go back as far in time as we need. In this particular case, Nautica Isles is a very large community and I was able to find 40 comps that have this search criteria here. I went back 12 months and so what I did was in this box here, I went and I put 12. Now, assuming I had to go 18 months, I would adjust and put 18. And let me explain to you a little bit about what happens when you do that. Now, again, remember, I'm encouraging you to go back further in time to find more comps. Unlike the more popular method, they don't encourage you to go back further in time. I'm telling you, go back in time. So in this case, let's assume I make it, well, let's leave it at 12. If it were 12 months that we went back for comps and you scroll up, you'll see here that in the closed comp method, the average is 371. Now, let me change this to 18 months. And let's see what happens up here. This number changed from 371 to 379. Let's go back, I don't know, 24 months. And again, it went to 387. So as you can see, it's taking into account this number that we input here, the appreciation rate, and it's adjusting accordingly. So I'm going to go back to 12 because that's what I needed. Now, once you find your closed comps, and remember, if you cannot find it in the same community, use similar communities, similar homes, but the goal is to find at least 40 comps so that together between your closed and your active, you're having at least 50 data points. As you can see here, the more data you go, the more data, the better. Go back further and we will adjust the older comps for appreciation. So when I took my 40 comps, I will take the average of the closed price and I will input that number here where it says 355. That's it. You scroll up, it now gives you an average value of 357, and then it gives you a low end value. I happen to know that this property is worth exactly that, between 320 and 350. I just did a quick valuation. It took me 15 minutes. I was able to use 3 different valuations and help explain to our sellers why we're going to provide value, why we're the right listing agent, listing office for them. Now, once you've done this valuation with them, the next step is to suggest that you go to their home, see the property, and or do it through Zoom if you need to. You want to also bring the PREZI Listing Presentation and scroll through it because that will make sure that you hit all of the important points when it comes to what we do to market their home. So practice this a few times. If you have any questions, you let me know. And that's it. That's the entire training. It's hard for me to see how long I've been speaking, but I hope that that helps you, and I hope that you use this to get more listings than you've ever had before. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.